You are Locked On Giants Postcast, part of Locked On Sports San Francisco on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yo, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Locked On Giants Postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. You may know me as the former producer for the Murph and Mac Morning Show on KMBR. And today, the Giants just keep winning on the road, man. Tonight, they take down the D-backs 6-3 and have now won 8 of their last 9 road games. Who the hell does this team think they are? They got it done today, thanks in part to the most exciting play in baseball. As Matt Chapman blasted a ball off the center field wall in the third inning that caromed away from everyone, allowing him to circle all of the bases on his way to an inside the park home run. How fun was that one? And Birdsong was pretty solid again today for the Giants, building more momentum going into next season. You love to see it. With the win, the Giants are now just 1 win back from their win total from last year. Seemed unlikely they were going to reach it or pass it. Now it's definitely on the table. Looks like the Giants will pass last year's win total if they keep playing the way they have been. We'll break it all down, but first, I want to thank all of you for watching us on the Locked On Sports San Francisco YouTube channel. Please, please, please hit that subscribe button. Thanks also for listening on the Locked On Giants podcast feed, making us your first listen following these Giants games. Make sure to check out the Locked On Giants Daily Show for more in-depth coverage. Ben Kaspick does a great job. This episode is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. The right stay can make you a fan of any city, even your baseball rivals. Book today on Booking.com, the official accommodation partner of Major League Baseball. Get the Booking.com app today. The D-backs actually got on board first in this one. Hayden Birdsong was pretty good, but he did get touched up with some extra base hits. When the D-backs got hits off of him, they made them count. He did limit base runners pretty well today, but in that first inning, back-to-back doubles from the D-backs scores the first run of the game. The Jock Peterson at-bat is the one that drove the run in. So Peterson comes up with an RBI against his former team, the forever Giant, Jock Peterson, who Bay Area kid, grew up in the South Bay down in the San Jose area, still out there wearing the weirdest gear known to mankind, has just bright yellow, he seems like he has everything, like a shin guard, a wrist guard, a elbow guard, like he's just got everything up there. So Jock Peterson looking kind of like a mix between the yellow Power Ranger and an Arizona Diamondback out there today. Did pretty well at the dish against his former squad. Wasn't the only Diamondback scoring rally that he was a part of. He would get in on one later. But first, in the top of the third, the Giants did most of their damage. They put up another crooked number. This team has been having a lot of crooked number innings lately, at least games with crooked number innings. And that's been a huge difference for the way that this team has played on the road as of late. In this one, top of the third, Ramos singles, then Encarnacion doubles down the line to right field, going the opposite way. I love watching this guy hit with his inside-out swing. He just kind of like frisbee backspins that thing the opposite way, and it just tails away from the defender every time, and it creates some interesting bounces. Ball kind of generally kicks around when it's spinning that way, and it hits near the line. So he's done that several times this season, and he's been pretty good at it all year long. Scores Ramos, ties the game 1-1. Don't forget, they found Encarnacion off the scrap heap, man. For as much as we rip Farhan for his little tinkering moves, this one I don't hate. They went and got this guy down from Oaxaca in Mexico, in the Mexico League, and he ended up being a guy. After they got rid of Soler at the deadline, they needed someone to come in and be a bat for this squad. And that's what Encarnacion has done. So credit him for, don't got to get ready if you stay ready. The stay ready ability of Jerar Encarnacion, despite what country he's playing, it doesn't matter. He's always ready. That tied the game at 1 apiece. And then up comes Matt Chapman, who smashed one off the center field wall. And Jake McCarthy, man, we want to talk about the real battle today. It was not between Hayden Birdsong and the D-backs hitters or Erod and any of the Giants. It was Jake McCarthy versus the center field wall at Chase Field. That guy, running into the wall like it owes him money. Like he's just like body slamming into that thing full speed. Dude, be careful. Haven't you seen what happened to Jung-Hoo Lee earlier this season? Man, you don't want to see guys getting hurt out there. Jake McCarthy just throwing his body around all day long. Like he just no disregard for his own well-being, just chucking himself at that wall. Both times that he did it today, both collisions with the wall looked really rough, and neither one did he make the catch on. So poor Jake McCarthy out there running around, smashes into that wall, and the Matt Chapman one just hit off that center field wall and took a sharp right turn out. I mean, you had the left fielder kind of getting there because it was kind of towards the left center field gap, hits the wall and kicks squarely straight, like beeline towards right field. So nobody had any chance to really track this one down in any timely fashion. Gave Matt Chapman the chance to run all the way around all four bases and score on the most exciting play in baseball. Drives in Encarnacion as well. Gives the Giants a 3-1 lead. Right before I started the show, I got a little bit of the Matt Chapman post-game interview, and he said that when he was asked what he thought about that inside the park home run, he said that it was, quote, tiring, and laughed. And I mean, yeah, dude, that's a long way to run. That's 360 feet of straight sprints with some turns in there. Pretty rough. He was running those bases pretty good, man. Matt Chapman always is a great base runner, but that was really impressive watching him just take off and hit those corners the way that he did. That was a really efficient way to get around the bases for Chapman. I mean, he's fast, but his base running, like the technicality of how he makes his rounds on these bases, is really interesting to watch. I mean, you could put on a clinic with little leaguers, having them just watch this guy, the way that he times his steps, the way that he approaches bases when he's looking to take extra bags. It's really impressive watching Matt Chapman do his thing out there. I'm really glad that he's going to be on the Giants for multiple years to come. We can't forget the great defense that Chappie played tonight as well. I mean, snared like 106 mile an hour rocket off a bat of a D-backs hitter that he was able to record the out on and whip the throw over and get it. I mean, dude was just unreal in all phases of the game tonight. Added a triple later on. So Chappie doing everything. I mean, triple is generally regarded as the most tiring play in baseball. Well, only one worse is for, no, I say worse, more tiring is the inside the park home run. And Chappie had them both today. So dude was getting his sprints in for sure. He also said that if Williams had put the stop sign on him at third, he probably would have ran right through it based on his momentum and how he was just picking him up and putting him down and feeling the flow running around those bases. So great job by Matt Chapman all around tonight, showing why he's worth that $150 million the Giants gave him. And I'm excited for this guy to be on this team for years to come. The Giants weren't done there, though. They added on some more runs offensively, some insurance runs by way of solo home runs. How else would the Giants do it? If they're going to hit a home run, it's a solo home run. And maybe if they hit inside the park home runs, they'll have more multi-run home runs, because Matt Chapman inside the park home run, 2-run home run. Casey Schmidt over the fence home run, only a solo home run, his 6th of the season, 109.7 off the bat in the top of the 4th, 389 feet to left. And every time this guy connects with one, I feel like he just destroys baseballs every time. Like, no matter where he hits it hard. And I mean, he does swing and miss a lot. That's the big issue with Casey Schmidt. But I did like to see that he's still adding power to this Giants lineup. I am kind of interested to see how he fits in with next year's squad. He was kind of lost in no man's land for a lot of this year with this team after he was one of the bright spots of the 2023 season. So interesting to see where this guy's going to end up next year, especially because he doesn't really track very well as a shortstop either. He makes some good plays. He's got a cannon for an arm, but he's a little bit like, he's really hot and really cold sometimes. He'll make some highlight reel plays, then he'll boot some easy grounders right to him. But I do like him at second base. I don't think he's been too bad over there, but that's where we think Tyler Fitzgerald's going to end up next season. So where does Casey Schmidt go? He's obviously not playing third with Matt Chapman there. Maybe he can just be that extra rotational guy, but that's kind of Brett Wisely's role. So it's a lot of questions about Casey Schmidt and how he fits into this Giants team next season. But one thing's indisputable about the kid. He's got some pop, man, and he showed that last year, shows it again tonight. And you know who else has pop? Is Michael Conforto. A solo home run by this guy, and he just blasted this one 430 feet to right center field. It cleared that dumb swimming pool out there in right center field, which I hear is actually like really expensive to get tickets for from my friends out in Arizona. Like, apparently, as you would assume, tickets to get into Chase Field, not that expensive. If you just want to get in and go see a game, it's pretty reasonable, pretty moderately priced. But if you want to go swim in that like questionable looking water, you got to apparently shell out some bucks to get out there, some shekels, you know what I mean? So tough for everyone out in Arizona trying to who wants to, like, I guess, swim at the baseball stadium, but I mean, I don't know who that really is for. Anyways, Conforto home run over that dumb swimming pool out there in right center field, and again another 109-mile-an-hour rocket off the bat, just like Casey Schmidt's was. And as I said, Conforto's 19th bomb of the season. Going into the month of September, did not seem like Conforto was really going to hit that magic number 20 for the Giants this year for the home run total. I think he's going to get there now. He's one homer shy. And I mean, he's been really, really, really great for the Giants on the road in this over this great stretch for the Giants, where they won 8 of their last 9 road games. Conforto's been a big part of this, man. He also is another, just like Chapman, who came up with multiple extra base hits today. Conforto added a double also later on. I believe that was the one where Jake McCarthy slammed himself into the wall a second time. And I don't know how this dude doesn't have a concussion right now. The way that he was slamming into that wall, hope he's feeling all right. I mean, you know, you aren't rooting for the other team, but you don't want to see those guys get hurt either. So you never want to see anyone get hurt out on the sporting event field, regardless of sport, regardless of team. But, you know, I do like seeing Conforto home runs and extra base hits, doubles. If you know, it's been so fun to watch this guy actually turn it around. I've been down on this guy all year long, and he's been really having a nice second half, man. He's been putting it together, and it again makes you question: do you want to bring this guy back next year? What is the dollar amount in which you're cool with Michael Conforto coming back, or are you cool with it at all? I mean, this guy. My personal take, I think he needs to play every day because he is so streaky. And when he gets on these hot stretches, you can't bench him. Like, he becomes one of the, better hitters in baseball. He was an all-star a couple years ago with the Mets, had over 30 home runs, and he turns into that guy for various stretches of the season when his body's feeling good. And when his body's feeling bad, man, he all of a sudden forgets how to hit. So, it has been a couple rough injury years for Conforto here in San Francisco. If he is able to stay healthy, you see the kind of production he's able to produce. I just don't know that the Giants have a spot for him, because do you trust him as your third outfielder? If you are locked in with Ramos and Lee as 2 of your 3 outfielders, do you want to roll the dice on a Michael Conforto and maybe run it back with the Michael Conforto / Mike Yastrzemski right field, get Grant McCray in there, see if he, sticks? For me, that doesn't really get me excited. I think that Michael Conforto isn't the best platoon guy, and that's kind of the role that you're going to be bringing him back in. I don't know that he is going to want to be in that role either. I think he probably, if we know this about Conforto, I'm sure he knows this about himself, and I'm sure he wants to put himself in the best situation to succeed, which for him would be an everyday role. It's tough for him when he's being platooned the way he is, especially when he's hitting lefties as well as he is, and he's still getting benched against him for some weird reason. It's Giants have stopped really doing that as much in the second half. They're doing that a lot in the first half of the season, though. So Conforto maybe not wanting to go somewhere where he's going to only get the lefty-righty matchups. We'll see what happens in the offseason. But either way, Conforto making a strong case for himself to get a little bit better of a contract, whether it's from the Giants or from another team. If he keeps playing well, there's only 5 games left in the season. If he hits that 20 home run mark, I think maybe someone else is going to jump on it and maybe run that dollar amount up for Michael Conforto. The price tag on him probably too high for the Giants to bring him back as like a rotational third outfielder, which would be what he would be with this Giants team next season. In the top of the 7th, we told you that Conforto and Chapman both had a couple extra base hits later on. Well, top of the 7th, Conforto doubles and Chapman triples to score him. And my only nitpick from the Giants offense in this game was in this 7th inning, actually, because up comes Tyler Fitzgerald with Matt Chapman on third base and only 1 out, and this dude strikes out again. And Tyler Fitzgerald has been really nice for the Giants this season. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that because his strikeout numbers are what they are, that the season's a bad one for him, but another hat trick for Fitzgerald today. 3 strikeouts, 0 for 4 at the dish. The batting average down to 284, the slugging down to 831, or the OPS, down to 830. 831 slugging would be absolutely bonkers. But Tyler Fitzgerald, man, he's been down kind of bad lately, and the strikeout numbers, seems like he strikes out in at least half of his at-bats or more every single night for the last month. Since he cooled off on the home runs, he has really, really, really cooled off significantly. So I do want to see Fitzgerald start to turn it around. He's got 5 more games. Maybe he could go on a nice little tear to end the season over that 5-game stretch. I would like to see that. That would be something I'd hope to look for over these last 3 games or last 5 games for the Giants as we head towards the end of the 2024 season. There's no playoffs for the Giants. They've been mathematically eliminated for a while. And since they got eliminated, man, this team's been playing like they got no cares in the world, and they have all of a sudden turned into one of the better teams in baseball. I mean, on the road specifically, they're one of the best teams in baseball. I mean, they've been 7-2 this month, or 8-2 now this month on the road, despite playing a bunch of teams with winning records that are in the playoffs. The Padres, the Orioles, the Royals, and the Diamondbacks all in this month on the road. Only San Diego has a better win percentage on the road this month. They only have 1 loss on the road. I mean, that's amazing. The Giants are playing top tier baseball right now, and it just doesn't matter for, playoff race wise, but it does matter a lot for pride and playing for yourself and playing for something to build on for next year. And I thought it was super important for the Giants to match or better last season's win total, which was 79 games. And with the win tonight, the Giants are at 78-79. Again, 1 game back from 500. We know how this goes, the never-ending climb to 500. I don't know how many times the Giants have had an opportunity to bring their record back up to 500 this season, but it seems like, way more often than not in these situations, they go out and lose the next game. So let's hope that doesn't happen, because the difference now is that this team's playing loose. They're not all tight anymore like they were earlier in the season. And I think that's really evident by their at bats. Their pressure packed at bats when there's runners in scoring position. They have hit a lot better. They were 2 for 7 today, so not amazing, but that's still pretty solid. Only left. I say only, but they left 7 runners on base. That could have been a little bit better, but you score 6 runs. It's okay if you leave 7 on base. That's fine in that situation. All the extra base hits tonight were the big key for the Giants. But the one thing we didn't really get into was Hayden Birdsong. And that was another fun storyline from tonight. So let's take a quick break here. On the other side, break down Hayden Birdsong's night. Another solid outing from this rookie. He now picks up a win. He's now 5-5 in his rookie season. And another 5 innings from Birdsong on the mound. Did a good job, really good job at a couple things, including limiting the Diamondbacks base runners, both putting them on, and once they were on the bases, limiting their steals. So let's talk about that more on the other side. This is the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll be right back. Today's episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. Today, the Giants, another road win, baby. 6-3 over the D-backs. Another win over a playoff team on the road. Man, this team, the Giants, just rolling right now. Red hot on the road, which is hilarious because this season, they've before today, coming into today, they were 36-42 on the road. So with the win, they're now 37-42. They won't have a chance to get back up to 500. Simply not enough remaining games in the schedule. Only got 2 more road games left. It's just these last 2 against the Diamondbacks. Then they got an off day, and then they return home for a 3-game set against the Cardinals before the season ends. And so the best they can do is bring that record up to 39-42, which is pretty respectable for a team that was 10 plus games below 500 on the road for like all of this season. They were so bad, and they've won each of their last 3 road series, all coming against teams currently in playoff position. By the way, we mentioned earlier Matt Chapman with the inside the park home run and the triple. That was the only time, the first time that's happened in the same game since 1953 for the Giants. So it's been a while since something like that. The last guy to do it was Monty Irvin on July 18th, 1953. The last time a MLB player accomplished this was in 2017. So this is pretty rare to see an inside the park home run and a triple in the same game. But I told you guys we were going to talk about Hayden Birdsong, and let's talk about Hayden Birdsong, man, because this guy, another solid outing for him, and he hasn't been super solid in the month of August. He was really, really, really rough, but in September, he's bounced back nicely. He's got another win this month, 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 runs, only 2 walks. He did hit a guy, and he had 6 strikeouts. So 2 walks plus the hit batsman. He puts on 3 guys, gives them 3 free 90s. You don't like free 90s, but as far as with the Diamondbacks, this becomes extra crucial because when you're putting guys on from this team, it leads to steals. Today, for the Diamondbacks, you know how many steals this team had? Goose egg, 0, none. And part of this, a big part of this, is because of Hayden Birdsong and the way that he has a really great grasp of how to hold runners on first base, changing up his rhythm and his delivery time on the mound to confuse that runner on first, on second, wherever they're trying to steal bags, because the Diamondbacks will send guys anytime, any place, does not matter. Hayden Birdsong really doing a good job of making guys over there feel uncomfortable once they get on base. And if you limit the number of guys getting on base, you're limiting the number of opportunities they have for steals. Now, we should also mention a lot of the Diamondbacks hits tonight were extra base hits. The Diamondbacks had 7 total hits tonight, and they had 1, 2, 3 extra base hits. So almost half of their hits were extra base hits. 4 extra base hits tonight for the Diamondbacks. And so, I mean, more than half of their base runners were, or a little less than half their base runners. I can do math, I promise. 7 plus 3 is, 4 is less than half of 7 plus 3, but about half of their base runners were, already starting at second base. So that kind of changes how you're going to be attacking steals on the base pass, things like that, limits your opportunities for stealing second base from first base, because stealing third base is a lot harder, obviously. But still, this team, the Diamondbacks, runs all the time. They have speed everywhere up and down this lineup. Hayden Birdsong doing a great job. He didn't even have Pat Bailey back there today. I mean, Bailey came in later on in this game after Wisely came in to pinch run for Curt Casali in the 8th inning. Bailey closed out this game behind the dish, but Curt Casali is not Pat Bailey behind the dish with his pop time, with his throwing out runners at second. We know this. So, I mean, I'm not saying Casali's bad by any means, because he's not. He's a very solid defensive catcher. That's why he's on this team. But I really, really enjoyed watching Hayden Birdsong, keeping those guys guessing over at first, holding them on. And the way that he was pitching tonight was really solid. Again, another 6 strikeouts for Hayden Birdsong in 5 innings. So strikeout more than 9 Ks per 9 is what I'm trying to say. More than 9 Ks per 9 for Hayden Birdsong. And I really, really, really enjoyed watching him do his thing out there today. He threw 90 plus pitches, about 50 to 55 of them were strikes. It wasn't his most accurate day at the mound. 56 strikes, 95 pitches. Wasn't his most accurate day on the mound, but he was pretty good, and the misses weren't bad. I mean, when he was missing, they weren't easy takes, at least most of the time. And that's been the biggest difference between September Hayden Birdsong and August Hayden Birdsong. Was when he's missing now, he's still missing relatively close. He's keeping hitters honest. He's not letting you just spit on it out of the hand, and that's been really, really good for Hayden Birdsong. His pitch usage today threw 45 four-seam fastballs, so really pumped that fastball in. 21 curveballs, 19 changeups, 10 sliders. So his pitch usage has been a little wonky lately, varying usage on that curveball tonight. He used it a lot more again. This has been the pitch that has been his best pitch all season long. Today, no hits on those 21 pitches. Not a single ball in play off of any of those curveballs. He generated a couple swings and misses off of it too. So Birdsong doing a good job on the mound, mixing and matching. That changeup is starting to become a weapon for him, although he did give up some hard contact off of that pitch today. An average exit velo off that changeup of over 100 miles an hour, 104.3 miles an hour on the average exit velo for Hayden Birdsong's changeup today. But, I mean, this guy's been doing really good. I mean, we talked about his number one issue being walking guys. Today, just 2 walks. Yeah, he hit a guy, but as far as walks go, like through 4 balls type walks, he's been getting us a little bit better, marginally better day by day. And this is the number one thing that he can get better at, is trusting his defense to make plays behind him and just getting his stuff over the plate, because he's got a really, really, really good arsenal. He's got a good fastball. He's got a great curveball that can just snap off. And I mean, if he just lives in that fastball a little bit more, or lives in that strike zone with the fastball a little bit more, sets up that changeup to just fall off the table, that's primarily where this guy's going to find his bread and butter success throughout most of his career. And I do expect him to have a nice long career. This guy has showed me that he can kind of adapt. He came up, he had such high levels of success his first few starts in the Giants uniform. And then came the speed bumps, the very, very big speed bumps, the tumultuous, treacherous waves that he was facing in August. And then now he's calmed the seas a little bit. He's navigated those rough times, those rough waters, and now he's out on the other side, and he can see the horizon, man. He's heading towards it, and he's pitching pretty well. I think this guy is going to be a good piece for this Giants rotation next season, and it's poised to be a good one, man. I mean, you got Webb, you got Birdsong, you got maybe Jordan Hicks, who knows? You got Kyle Harrison. I mean, you have so many different guys. I mean, like Blake Snell, is he going to re-sign? Who knows? And Keaton Wynn, what's up with him? Is he going to be a guy in this rotation next year? Mason Black an option. You have Landon Roop an option. You have so many guys that you can go to for next year. And it's different than coming into this year, because that sounds a lot like what it felt like coming into this year. The difference is every single one of these guys has major league experience at this point. And oh yeah, don't forget, Carson Wisenhunt still down there in AAA. Look, he's another arm that could be a huge impact for this Giants rotation next season. And they'll need it, because, I mean, the way that they had, they'll need all the arms they can get after all the injuries they had to pitchers this year. Really derailed the middle of their season. They're going to need all the arms that they can get out of that staff to make sure that this thing stays on the tracks next year through the entire summer, not just the very end of it. So let's take a quick break. On the other side, we'll put a bow on this show, wrap it up, talk about a couple other notes. Some Bryce Eldridge news, man. Let's finish with that. Some really good Bryce Eldridge news on the other side to wrap up this show on a 6-3 Giants win over the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Giants just can't lose on the road right now, man. Got 5 games left in this season, 2 more on the road. Let's see. The Giants can win them both, man. Let's see if we can get 2 road sweeps against playoff teams to close out the Giants road trips this season. How great would that be? Stick with us on the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll be right back. Today's show is sponsored by Booking.com. Booking.com, booking.yeah. The right stay can make you a fan of any city, even your baseball rivals. Book today on Booking.com, the official accommodation partner of Major League Baseball. Get the Booking.com app today. Explore those U.S. cities you always secretly wanted to learn more about. With hostels, bed and breakfast, vacation rentals, resorts, and so much more on Booking.com, you might just find your perfect stay even in your baseball rival city during the postseason. And I'm not trying to rub it in, but there's plenty of other NL West teams that their stadiums aren't too far. If you're trying to get some playoff baseball in, this might be a good time, man. I mean, speaking of playoff baseball, the Diamondbacks out there in Arizona, it's pretty nice out there this time of year, where the rest of the country is getting a little wonky with the weather. Arizona, pretty nice in September, man. Might be a good destination. Diamondbacks playoff tickets can't be that expensive. Maybe head on out there, go see some playoff games. Can't be worse than going to LA and seeing some playoff games, right? Maybe it's time to taste test your baseball competition stadium cuisine. There's a lot of crazy stuff out at Chase Field from what I hear. And luckily on Booking.com, you can find the stadium stay that's just right for you. With Booking.com's wide variety of choices across the U.S., you can go incognito to all your baseball rival cities. No matter what team you're rooting for this postseason, Booking.com can make you a fan of any U.S. city. From hotels that overlook stadiums to family-friendly resorts to cute bed and breakfast stays, Booking.com has so many choices across the U.S. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your baseball rivals. Booking.com, booking.yeah. And today's show is also sponsored by FanDuel. And hey, NFL fans, got a lot of NFL fans that watch the Locked On Giants postcast. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more all on the same page where you can place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com, America's #1 sportsbook. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel, and today, the Giants win 6-3 over the D-backs. I'm just checking out the chat here. Vino Chris says, don't forget about Robbie Ray in next year's rotation too. How can I forget about Robbie Ray? He could be a huge piece for the Giants next year if he picks up where he kind of started this off when he came in. I mean, Robbie Ray had some ups and downs so far in the second half of the season in a short time in a Giants uniform, but he also flashed some of the stuff that showed what made him a former Cy Young Award winner. So I think that could be another huge piece of the Giants rotation next year. So we wait and see. We wait and see. Again, 5 more games left this season for the big league club, but in the minor leagues, we got to take a quick peek because we got Bryce Eldridge down there, man, and he has been flying through the minor league ranks already in AAA. And today he was awarded the Giants minor league baseball player of the year by Baseball America. Eldridge was drafted 16th overall in 2023. It's his first full minor league season, and he wins the Giants minor league player of the year award in his first full minor league season. He played on 4 minor league affiliates: San Jose Single A, Eugene High A, Richmond Double A, and Sacramento Triple A. He combined to hit over all those 4 levels: 289, 27 doubles, 2 triples, 23 bombs, and 91 RBIs. I mean, he also drew 59 walks in 116 games, posted a slugging percentage over 500, on-base percentage over 370, and an OPS at 885. This guy is a stud. We talked a lot on our last show about whether or not you want Lamont Wade back as your first baseman. I don't think Bryce Eldridge is going to be ready by next year. Even if he does come up next year, he's not going to be the everyday first baseman. So while, that is an option, I mean, like the plan, not just an option, but like the plan going forward to have this guy be the first baseman of the future, pump your brakes. Not quite yet. Not next year. Don't think that's when it's going to happen for Bryce. But this minor league player of the year, the Giants minor league player of the year, a very, very, very deserved award for this kid who is just absolutely tearing it up down in the minor leagues. And I cannot wait to see him in a Giants uniform. With that, that's all the time that we got for you guys today. A Giants win. Big Giants win, 6-3 over the D-backs. They're 78-79 on the season. Chance to get back to 500 tomorrow, and a chance to tie last year's win total tomorrow as well. So we'll come to you live tomorrow. Giants only got 2 more road games left. Let's see if they can win them both. Man, how fun would that be? We come to you live tomorrow as the Giants again take on the D-backs out there at Chase Field, 6:40 p.m. start. I almost said Chase Center, man. That is not where the Diamondbacks play. It's where the Golden State Warriors play. It's actually where Nicki Minaj is playing tonight. If you're into the Pink Friday thing. I mean, I personally love Nicki Minaj and that Pink Friday album. I mean, if you know me, that's it tracks. It tracks. So thanks for tuning in to the Locked On Giants postcast. We'll come to you live tomorrow. First pitch tomorrow, 6:40 from Chase Field. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Peace.